Hello guys, I hope I find you all well. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how you actually load a B. Daniel single invert roller 8-banded version. The specific spear gun I'm going to be exhibiting is actually a strong setup. It's this spear gun here. It's a 110 with the new ambi handle. You can see it here. Very nicely made gun, 7 laminates of wood. It's a big gun and it achieves a fantastic shot. There's two versions of the 8-banded version. The one version is the strong setup, which is this 8mm spear, 21mm central band and 17.5mm side bands, which is a very strong setup. We're talking about achieving 8-meter shots with a spear gun. It's got 3 pass through the lines, in other words it's passed 3 times, and it actually stretches that and releases the break on the reel, which is about 9 meters. And a suggested setup, the most pleasant setup, is the 7.5mm spear, 21 central band and 16s, which produces again an 8-meter shot, but with less kinetic energy. In other words, it will penetrate big fish, but if you want to go for tuners, I would suggest the 8mm spear. Anyway, just to show you how this thing is loaded. So we've got the central band, it's already hooked onto the anchors, and the process is we actually load. You can see from here, this is what it looks like. So we load the central band by pulling the cord to the last shark fin, which I'm going to demonstrate, by the way. Then we go for the band that's right under the central band, and it's always color coded with whatever color I choose at that moment. So this happens to be the orange, then the last band, which happens to be the black, and last the red band, which goes around these little screws here. So that's how it's done. Let me demonstrate how it's actually loaded. So we put the spear gun at the center of our body like so, and we do this. And we pull straight to the back. We make sure the top bands are under the line over here. They're not going through, in other words, the line. And we start loading, remember, the orange one first. There it is. So let's go. Not that hard. And these are 17.5s. The 16s are butter smooth, much easier gun, much more pleasant to use with extreme range. Black, and last but not least, the red around the screws. Now, look at the line of sight down here. Absolutely mind-blowing. You know you've loaded the gun well when the bands are actually parallel to each other. So there's no overlapping like what my fingers look like. If you see this effect, then you've loaded it wrong. The bands must be next to each other. A very unique characteristic of my guns, you'll see that the bands are not touching the gun. So the bands are actually floating. And that produces a phenomenal shot. As mentioned, extremely fast. It's actually double the speed that the band contracts at. And the bottom of the spear gun, my unique patented design, the bottom of the spear gun is completely free of any band, so you load it and all your lines will never mingle. It's just like any conventional spear gun. So this is how you load the B. Daniel roller, single invert roller, 8-banded version, whether it's the strong setup or the weak setup. You look after yourselves, guys. It's a very hot day here today, so part of the sweating is because of the heat, not of the loading of the spear gun. You stay well and look after yourselves.